Hey everyone, with 2019 coming to a close, we figured, you know what, everyone else is probably going to do one, let's make a best and worst of the year video for movies. Yes, I know recently on my channel I said I was done making videos, but really that meant I was just going to take a break for a while, so, I want to try something new, so, yeah, let's just do this. So I got a friend of mine here.
Hi.
We're essentially going to go over the best, worst, and just what we thought were interesting films of 2019. I know a lot of people are doing best films of the decade, but really, there was a lot this year already to talk about.
And a decade's a lot of work. Choose your best movie of the decade.
See, and choosing best movie of the decade for me would probably just be Sharknado 1 to 6 or 1 to 5.
Oh, see, my best of the decade came out this year. Granted, it's Endgame, so what do you expect, right?
Yeah. Anyhow, so we don't really have any rules. Really, if one of us hasn't seen the movie, it's still fine. If one of us at least has, really, at least in my opinion, a movie doesn't have to be the best quality to be a great movie. It can if it's entertaining, that's what matters most. But most of the movies we'll probably talk about were really, really well made. So that.
And my worst movies were the worst movies because they were most disappointing. Not necessarily that they were bad quality, but they disappointed me in so many ways.
And this goes without saying, but we obviously have to say it. These are simply our opinions. If you disagree with them, well, you're wrong. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, feel free to have your own opinion or talk down below. Give us your lists. But really, I don't see any reason to prolong this. Let's start with the best or the worst?
Either is fine, but I've got a third in between category.
Okay.
Well, let's do best.
Okay.
All right.
You go first.
All right, so my name's Scott. I didn't actually introduce myself, so there it is. My name's Scott, and that was my bad before. I'm a big comic book guy.
Same.
A really big comic book guy, and
this was the year for comic book nerds around the world.
It wasn't. That's the problem. But largely, 22 films have passed in the MCU, and I've watched every one of them many times. I've marathoned them a couple times. So, without a doubt, the best movie of 2019 was Avengers Endgame. Mm-hmm. It was just the culmination of everything that I have ever wanted from a film, and they did it in such an excellent way. It could have been a big flop. It could have been just not the payoff we needed, but instead it was exactly what it needed to be.
And I think that's why I have to give so much credit to Endgame as well. I'm not sure if it would be my best movie of the year, but it's definitely the second or tied for the first. Partially because there was so much riding on this movie. A lot of people just think, the MCU, that thing's been going on for 10 years. The thing is, the MCU, from what I can tell, was planned from the word go. If for some reason Endgame happened to be the one where they stumbled and fell, this would not have been good.
No.
A full decade. People wouldn't just have been disappointed. I'm pretty sure people would have been angry. Because it's been a year, it's been a decade, over a decade of build up to it.
I can't imagine what I would have done if Endgame had been bad. I think it would have been like a cry myself to sleep situation. Where you have to keep living your life even though you don't want to live in a world where Endgame was terrible.
Exactly. And I've heard people say stuff like, it's a great final act and the rest of the movie's just okay. Yeah, that might be true, but that final act is amazing.
I would even disagree with that.
No, I disagree with that.
The build-up to that final act is so perfectly executed in a way that makes us... First of all, they make it so that you only care about those original Avengers.
Yeah.
They cut all the fluff. Nothing matters except for Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and Hulk. And I guess that other Black Widow lady who's, she's something.
Dead is what she is. I'm sorry,
that was a call. He doesn't seem to care.
That was a call for.
But yeah, okay. No, they like cut down all the fluff. It was just like a perfect build-up of, we've seen these characters in crisis. Now we're seeing these characters come to grips with that crisis. Now, they can't, so they have to do something. And what they choose, it's surprisingly well done.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought time travel was the right option? I don't know.
Often, to me, time travel, if a movie is based on time travel, and there's no other movies before it, that can be a ton of fun.
Yeah.
But often if time travel appears in a movie, and it's not like, say, The Terminator, it often comes off as they're desperately trying to be like, okay, we need to change something. Time travel is the excuse to do it.
Right,
but,
it's like, it was either a dream or it was a time travel
But this time, they not only use time travel in a truly ingenious way, with so many callbacks to the original movies that every fan was just going berserk over, but those who hadn't seen all the other movies could still follow it.
Absolutely.
There was plenty of stuff to make sure that, you know what, we know not everybody has watched 22 movies as much as we have, or read all the comics, or all the prequel comics, or all the stuff tying into it. Like, you know what, we know that. Now, there's going to be a ton of stuff for those who have done the research, but if you haven't, don't worry. You're in for the ride regardless. And, and there were so many people, when I was in the theater, I could tell, like, I could hear them going, like, hang on, who's that guy? Like, to their kids or to their friends, and I'm like, but at the same time, at no point...
They're still cheering when Captain America says, finally, Avengers assemble, and pulls Mjolnir into his hands. Like, I'm shivering right now.
When Mjolnir went into Captain America's hands, first of all, I'm like, I knew they were going to do that. But I have never... I have only seen...
an inkling of hope that it would happen, but it wasn't.
Well, I was thinking, okay, they're going to do something like that.
Oh, yeah.
But the only other time I have seen a theater give a standing ovation at a scene
right.
was during the 2014 Godzilla scene, when Godzilla grabs the Muto and decapitates it with nitro breath.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that, like, but I remember the theater I was in was a standing ovation during that. But not only is, like, the characters of Endgame, like, the heroes of Endgame amazing, Endgame and Infinity War gave us probably one of the greatest villains in film in general of easily the past decade.
Yeah.
Thanos is a well-meaning extremist. His tactics are completely horrifying. But
yet you feel for him.
You feel for him. You do.
You empathize with the madman and question whether you are a madman yourself.
Like, of course, we're going to be spoiling a lot here, but the movie's out on Blu-ray now. Like, that's really your fault if you haven't seen this
Let's be honest. If you haven't seen Endgame, you missed out on, like, a phenomenon that the world was talking about. Like, people who'd never seen Endgame were talking about on the radio.
You missed an experience in the theater, but in Infinity War, though, when he kills Gamora...
Yeah.
I remember hearing people crying, not just for Gamora's death, but over the fact that they were like, Thanos, like, how, like, it's a father losing his own daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel bad for this guy. And he wants to kill half the universe.
That's exactly it.
But I feel bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Avengers Endgame, phenomenal movie.
Alright, what's your best movie of 2019?
Okay, it's either Avengers Endgame or... possibly Godzilla King of the Monsters.
See, I liked Godzilla a lot. It was a really fun movie. My theater had this problem where when he's just about to fight King Ghidorah at the very end, the power went out.
I was in the same theater as you.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and someone shouted, "This is pretty
movie theater."
And someone's like, "Yeah, this is immersive."
Yeah, I was like, and my dad turned to me and said, hope we get our money back. Yeah. And we did, so it's fine, but like, alright.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Godzilla King of the Monsters is fantastic. Everything about it is fantastic. Aside from the humans. And the writing.
I was going to say,
the acting. And the humans. And everything not involving the monsters.
Yes.
But aside from that, this movie is entertaining.
There's so much fun stuff going on
screen.
They
realized, okay, in the 2014 Godzilla, everyone loved the monsters fighting. Within the first 5 minutes, have them fight, just let it happen.
Yeah, because they didn't give you... Like, they gave us Godzilla in the 2014 one. It was good.
It was good.
But this one took it to the next level where they're like, you want Godzilla? Here's Godzilla.
You want Godzilla?
You want him to fight 3 world-renowned kaiju? Yeah, have at it. enjoy.
How about 5? Like,
Right, exactly. It was stellar.
Like, the whole... And I will not argue for even a moment that this movie is easily one of the stupidest movies I have ever watched. Some of the choices in this movie are so idiotic. Some of the humans
I don't
in this
know,
movie...
man. We haven't even gotten to my most disappointing / worst movie of all time.
No, but I enjoyed it, though, is what I'm getting at. Like,
exactly.
It's honestly...
Can't be as stupid as what I've got on
Well,
my
I
list.
almost think they knew people just want to see monsters, so how about we come up with the dumbest plot we possibly could?
Yeah.
And if it was almost any other movie, I think people would have hated it. But because Godzilla is not a franchise that has been known for its deep plots, aside from the original, which is actually a fascinating film due to the imagery and themes about Hiroshima and all that, it's always been giant dude in a rubber suit fighting other giant monsters. So now they're like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's just have some plot and
with baby Godzilla running around beside you.
But now they're like, okay, you know what? Look, humans doing stuff. Look, the monsters. Like it even the movie even seems to know that you're not here for the humans and tries whenever it cuts back to them. It almost feels like the director's like, can we please get back to the monsters? Like, and it's the kind of entertainment that I know some people hate the saying you got to check your brain out the door, but I've done that for like 7 years on my channel, so I'm used to it. But Godzilla King of the Monsters and Avengers Endgame gave us massive fight scenes that were entertaining. It finally gave us...
And put together really well. Like the cinematography,
the effects. But it also got the characters right. Like, not only the designs of the characters, like Ghidorah looks fantastic and genuinely threatening. And I don't think Ghidorah in film has ever looked threatening.
Rodan was the only one where I was like, it's hard to make this guy really menacing.
He's a pterodactyl.
It's kind of hard to make this guy menacing.
But even Mothra, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cute. And then I'm like, oh, that's kind of awesome.
Right,
like,
exactly.
And then when like Godzilla goes like full nitro at the end, I remember just thinking, yes, this is so dumb. Give me more. And just, they've always known like we can get away with so much more because it's monsters fighting and not humans. So using Ghidorah's decapitated head to blow up the rest, I'm like, you know what? Whoever came up with that, give that man a raise.
Right, exactly. No,
but
it was sweet.
Really, this has been a great year for movies that are just mindless popcorn films. And I know some people like films that make you think, or movies that kind of tackle complex situations. And you know what? I get that.
There were a lot of those this year.
Yeah.
I just didn't get to see any of them.
The few I saw weren't as good as they could be, but like...
They all came out recently. I've heard a lot of good things about like Parasite, which is a foreign film, and Uncut Gems, which has Adam Sandler doing a dramatic role.
But I've heard he's great in it. And like,
he's great.
There's a new one coming out in January with like Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx.
That one does look good, yeah.
Yeah, like...
I can't remember what that's called.
I forget, like... But yeah, it's about like black rights and like...
is it like True Justice or something like
True Justice. Yeah. So, I do think there are going to be a lot of good films coming up that do tend to tackle more real-life themes. But this year has very much been the year of the blockbuster, so to say. And I think...
Which is why my runner-up is both a blockbuster and a thinking movie.
Okay.
Joker.
I actually haven't seen Joker.
I really enjoyed it, but for different reasons than I think I was expecting to like it. I was not looking forward to the movie by any means, going into it, thinking I want a comic book movie, but I'm not going to get one. I didn't get a comic book movie by any means. But I got a really good movie as a whole, and that's why I gave Joker my runner-up position for best movie.
Yeah. Like, we were doing, like, 5 best, 5 worst, so is that, like, your runner-up for, like, best of the year, or...?
That's runner-up for best of the year.
I didn't see Joker because I was going to, but... So, true fact, I've had some issues in the past and stuff like that, and someone told me, you know, this movie deals a lot with mental health issues and stuff like that, so they said, you know what... Like, they told me, you would definitely enjoy it, but I think in the theaters it might not be the best idea. So it is definitely on my list of films to watch when it comes out on Blu-ray, but it is a movie that I do understand that a lot of people were like, yeah, if you have suffered or have dealt with mental health issues in the past, it can kind of rub you the wrong way.
It wasn't at all like Joker is like a Batman property.
Yeah.
And so people, like, I was in the theater and there were kids there. And I immediately was like, this is a bad call. Mom, get your kids out of here.
That was me in Deadpool.
I'm like, I know this isn't a good space for you to have your kids.
Yeah.
I'm watching this, and even me, I'm questioning, should I really be watching this movie? But as an art piece, as a piece that explores humanity and as a piece that does a lot of different things, like cinematically, it was a great movie.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like if Robert Pattinson had showed up in his Batman costume and kicked some butt, I'm not going to say I'd be upset, but I would be a little less happy than what they chose to do.
Yeah. Okay, so that's my top 2. What's your second best?
Joker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Third best for me. I think it has to be John Wick Chapter 3.
Oh, yeah.
The John Wick movies really, not only did they revitalize Keanu Reeves' popularity, and really, I've always loved that guy. Like, I think he's a great actor, and I think he's just a great person.
Yeah.
But the whole story of just an assassin getting really angry because someone killed his dog, at first I'm like, you know what, that can make a fun movie. And then I thought, okay, how can they go from here? Like, they can't, I didn't think they could possibly go from here.
Yeah.
Then Chapter 2 is like, okay, we're going to expand this world. And then it ended on a really cool note. And Chapter 3 is like, we're just going to follow up on that.
Yeah.
And set up what could be an amazing finale. Although they have said that he's willing to keep making them as long as people keep wanting them.
And
frankly, I think the fourth one should be the finale, but at the same time, I doubt it will. But
it depends. It depends on how, on what, like, Keanu, we're entering a Keanu Science.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone is here for Keanu Reeves.
Cyberpunk, Bill and Ted 3, John Wick 4, Matrix 4.
Any movie that he's in, people are pumped about.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where a video game company at E3 can be like, let's bring Keanu Reeves out on stage and we're going to win the whole... You can't win a show for video games, but yet Xbox kind of won.
Yeah.
By bringing Keanu Reeves out, right? Like, this is where we are. And I would say that Parabellum, despite it having a crazy name, John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, was really well done. I thought it was a really fun movie to watch.
It kept the action, it kept the characters, it kept
the choreography is really why you're there.
And the choreography, it did not disappoint. Like, in Chapter 2, I'm thinking, wow, they could not possibly top this. And then number 3, like, okay, horseback biker fight, go. And, like, John Wick versus ninjas. And now, admittedly, there were a number of scenes that I'm like, okay, how has nobody seen this? Like, the first 2 really tried hard to make it seem like nobody would notice the whole, like, Assassins thing. And then the third one, a number of times, I'm like, is this like Assassin's Creed? And people look at it and go like, oh, okay, cool, bye, and just walk away. Like,
I don't know.
I know that it took me out of it, but at the same time, it didn't bug me that much.
It was almost like you could see a progression. That first movie was not an action movie as much as it was
a revenge film almost.
Like, it was a very well put together revenge film. But then the second one, they were like, you know what? We need more action. This is like, that was the good stuff in that first movie was everything.
Yeah.
The good stuff in the second movie wasn't necessarily the plot. It was a cool plot, but it was the choreography and the action. And the third one, they just were like, you know what? Let's give them all the action in the whole world. Let's give them all that they could possibly want. And we'll see what happens. And I think that turned out well for them.
And they actually did. At no point, though, have I thought these plots are just an excuse for action. I've always thought these actually have a real weight to them.
For sure.
And I always felt invested. Like, I actually, multiple times in part 3, I thought, oh, wait, are they going to kill him? Like, I knew they wouldn't, but...
Yeah.
People complained. I know heard people say in the first one, it's like he had God mode activated. Like, he couldn't be hurt. And the second one, they're like, yeah, we're going to beat him up. And then the third one is like, he's going to nearly die like 4 times here.
Yeah.
So, what did you have for third best?
I'm torn because I have 2 movies in that slot.
Okay.
I think I gotta give it to Shazam. I gotta give it to Shazam, not Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu will take up 4th spot. I really, really, really liked Shazam a lot.
Shazam?
I thought it broke the mold.
Yes.
In most of the DC stuff.
That's what I liked about it so much.
Correct.
It honestly seemed like DC finally went like, you know what? Forget it. Stop trying to make like dark atmospheric films.
It's when they did, like, Wonder Woman was the start, and it was really good.
Yeah.
Aquaman was
I loved
1,000 times better. Aquaman, my favorite DC like character, but also my favorite DC movie they've released.
And going into Shazam, I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be more lighthearted, but I'm thinking it's a kid. They're going to have so much like he's upset that he's crippled or he's an orphan. But they did that in a way that seemed realistic to how a kid would act. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, let's give him superpowers and just let him go. Like, it worked.
The only thing I'll say is that I knew every single plot point, there was no twist.
Yeah.
Because I had read the comic books and it was a near shot for shot, and I loved it.
Well, sometimes
I loved
that's
the
safe
shot
thing to
for
do.
shot. I loved that because most people haven't read New 52 Shazam because it's such a weird comic book that, like, no one's reading. I loved it.
Yeah, New 52 had some good stuff, and then they had the Lobo remake, which I hate. But, Shazam to me is really kind of a beacon of hope that DC can do both. Like, I think,
and on a low budget.
Yeah,
I think a low budget movie.
I think DC has the potential to do both dark films like Joker and to do more fun. I think our food's here.
Our food is here.
All right, 1 second. Okay, good. Yeah, sorry about that. Just food showed up.
People gotta eat, that's how it's gonna be.
But back to Shazam. Shazam has been proof that DC can have it both ways. They can be dark, but they also can have fun. And that, I really hope they remember that with Superman, because, well, Superman has always been the character of hope, not the... And I like Man of Steel a lot. And part of why I like it is because they tried to do a balance of him being the symbol of hope while also understanding there is a threat here. I actually have to fight. But Shazam was a great example of, let's actually have fun and make a good movie and stay close to the movie. Actual thing.
No, I thought that was... So, that Shazam is going to take my third spot of top 5.
Yeah, I think we both agree with number 4, which is Detective Pikachu.
I was so torn putting it in there. They came out pretty much the same time too. Detective Pikachu brought me so much joy.
See, I've not been paying attention to Pokemon for years. The last Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Pearl back on the DS.
Oh, yeah?
After that, I just kind of figured I was too old.
Play Shield, it's better than Sword. I'm joking.
I figured I was too old for Pokemon at that point, so I kind of just moved on, I knew it was still happening, and I knew people really enjoyed it. And when I heard them making a live-action Pokemon movie, my first thought was, oh, great, because... Let's be honest, live-action versions of cartoons don't always work.
It's true.
And then when I saw the first trailer, I'm like, wait.
It's when they showed me Charizard for the first time that I said, oh, this could be good.
Well, when I saw the first trailer, I'm like, you know what? This could actually be really interesting. And then the second trailer came out with the whole, I'm holding out for a hero, much more energy and liveliness. I'm like, okay, this looks really good. Yeah. I watched it, I was thinking, that is amazing. Mm-hmm. And I got back into the Pokemon trading card game because of it.
Well, because they gave them out for free when you went to the movie.
I didn't get that one. It's actually the one I'm missing left in the whole Detective Pikachu collection. Well, eBay, here I come.
It was just... And I think the thing that blew me away on that movie most was, one, the effects.
Yeah.
They did such a great job making Pokemon... Look real despite still being cartoon.
Yeah.
And then...
The world they built.
The world building, yeah. And the fact that, human acting, Justice Smith did fine. The random lady with the blonde girl, she did fine.
I forget her name, but she's so bad.
But it's not as big a deal for me as they characterized Pikachu so perfectly.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was... the perfect casting to play Pikachu.
At first,
it was like a kid-friendly version of what Ryan Reynolds does, and that's great.
And at first, I thought, oh, great. At first, I'm like, I just hear Deadpool, and then as the movie went on, I'm like, okay, it's not like a violent Deadpool, but it works because it's still the wisecracking, but what he needs to be, genuinely heartfelt character.
And if you've played Detective Pikachu on the DS,
which I have,
and that voice is just terrible.
Yeah,
it's like gross and like, but Ryan Reynolds at least has a pleasant voice, and I thought...
admittedly, they were thinking about using Danny DeVito. I would have been fine with either.
You know what, now that you say that...
I would have been fine with either.
Danny DeVito as Pikachu could be pretty legitimate.
Especially in the Fight Club scene, just being like, hey, get me the hell out of here! Hearing Danny DeVito screaming and all that.
Yeah, I'd probably watch... I'd watch a Danny DeVito Pikachu
Frankly,
movie.
Detective Pikachu had no right being as good as it was.
Yeah.
And I absolutely adored it. Yeah. It was fun, it was charming, and it really reminded me of why I enjoyed Pokemon so much growing up.
Exactly. Yep. I remember when I went to see it, it was like, I know that Pokemon. Yeah. I know that Pokemon. Why did that Tauros look weird? Oh, wait, that's not Tauros. Okay, never mind. And it was a great time.
Torterra was my favorite in
he's a good,
Diamond
great starter.
Yeah, and then when that one scene comes where it's like, oh look, Torterra's like, that's cool, and then like the giant island of Torterra, I'm like, okay, that I did not see coming.
Yeah, that's very cool.
of course, detective means there's a mystery, and the mystery is pretty simple to understand. Like, kind of from the word go, it's pretty obvious what the big twist at the end will be. But there are a few twists throughout the movie that I genuinely did not see coming.
Yeah.
And when the movie wanted to, it did get shockingly dark. Like, for a movie about Pokemon, there are some really dark implications in this movie.
I think they dealt with a lot of, like, themes that, right, like, they dealt with a lot of, like, human themes, you know, and that's kind of the thing that Pokemon games don't really do, right? Pokemon games are, you press a button to tackle, you press a button to thunder shock.
Well, I'm talking about, like, the beginning at the lab, when you actually think about, when they show, like, the hologram and it's, like, slows down, when you think about what that meant, and the fact that literally everyone in there is now dead, most likely slaughtered. I know they didn't show it, but also when you go back and you look at the first Pokemon movie, which I watched not long after that, I realized, wait, that's a tribute to the first movie.
Oh yeah, everything
where Mewtwo literally slaughters an entire group of humans at the beginning of this child-friendly movie.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And it actually has one line like, yeah, he escaped 20 years ago in the Kanto region. I'm like, wait, are they... That makes sense. Like, canonically, it's been 20 years since the first Pokemon movie.
Exactly.
I'm thinking, that is ingenious. Mm-hmm. And to anyone, they'll be like, oh, okay, so he's been out for a while. But to anyone who knows the movies, they're like, wait, that means all of this is in the same universe. Like, So, yeah. And they've said they're working on, like, they have plans for a sequel. I really want to see more legendaries in a sequel.
See, I want Squirtle Squad.
Yeah.
I want 3 Squirtles all wearing sunglasses. I want one of them to be the ringleader. I would love to see a Squirtle Squad movie. Don't give me anything other than a Squirtle Squad film.
Yeah. But, like, think about seeing, like, Dialga, Palkia, Arceus, Yveltal, Garantina.
See, I've never cared about those elements of the Pokemon lore in itself, but if they made a movie as good as Detective Pikachu, they'd probably get me.
No, it would just be, like, cool to look at.
Yeah, it's valid.
Or, like, Rayquaza would be amazing to see in live action. Because, like, even when Gyarados showed up in that Fight Club scene and, like, everyone is backs up like, oh, we're dead. Even I was like... Oh boy, this is not going to end well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's round this out. What was the 5th best movie for you? Another tie?
It's not a tie. I just don't have one.
I
don't have one because there were a lot of movies that I didn't get to see that I wish I had. But if I'm going to put a movie in there, I guess it's going to be... I guess it's going to be Jumanji. Jumanji: The Next Level.
I haven't seen that, actually.
I really enjoyed it. It was exactly the same as the first movie, and The Rock was definitely given, like, not a great... Like,
script?
The issue was that new people are... Like, the plot of the movie, exactly the same as the first. You've got a bunch of video game characters and a bunch of people outside the world who become the avatars in the game, and Danny DeVito becomes The Rock. So the whole movie is, for most of it, is The Rock trying to do a Danny DeVito accent, and it's not good. But it's still funny. And the whole movie, like, it's just like a fun movie to watch. A lot of things in it that weren't like, oh, that's amazing. But it was still a very fun movie to watch.
For me, I'm going back to DC, actually. It was one of their animated movies from this year.
Yeah, okay.
Simply put... Now, we both love comics. When I heard they were making a Batman Ninja Turtles crossover comic, I practically wet myself with excitement. I have all the issues of all 3 of them now. Like, they've made 2 sequels to it. And when I heard them making an animated movie, I thought, give me right now, I want to see this.
Yeah.
And then when I heard it was going to be inspired but not directly taken from it, I was like, oh, okay. Because the comic did so much right, I was thinking, this could be good, or it could kind of suck. Let's see where it goes. Batman vs. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was amazing.
Oh, see, I haven't seen that one yet.
Yeah, it's not like anything world-changing, aside from the fact that now we can literally say that Batman and the Ninja Turtles have met in a movie.
Yeah.
But it's funny, it's actually got some surprisingly heartfelt moments, the animation is fantastic, they did a really good way of blending multiple different iterations of the Turtles' art into the new designs for the TMNT and Batman. The characters work off each other really well. This is kind of a spoiler, there's a plot that all the villains get mutagen. And the stuff they come up with for how all the villains in Arkham become animals is so creative. I loved
really
it.
Cool. Yeah.
And the ending is probably the greatest credit sequence I've ever seen, because it's old Batman and Ninja Turtle covers with Batman and the Ninja Turtles now reenacting famous comic book covers.
Nice.
So overall, the movie, it is also a bit more... In some parts, it's a lot more child-friendly with some of the cursing cut out from the comic, but it also is shockingly bloodier in some scenes where the Foot Clan used to be robots in the comic. This time they're human, which means when Shredder throws a knife into one of the guys' heads, instead of sparking out in front of Batman, blood flies out, and I was thinking, hold on, kids are gonna watch this. But, you know what? We're both adults, so who cares? Not my problem. Overall, it's one I really enjoyed, and I do hope they make a sequel to.
Yeah.
So, this is going to be a multi-part video. I'm just thinking out loud right now.
Oh, yeah, that's probably wise.
Come back in like 5 minutes or so. We're going to talk about the rest of this year. The bad, and even worse than the bad, the disappointing.